Got to do some camera adjustment here because I didn't do it beforehand. Hi, Gino Cash. How are you? Hi, Nathan. It is indeed a Warhammer time. The best time. It'll work. Very bright today. All right. So, if anyone saw my most recent whip on the Discord, this is what I'm working on. The chunky boy himself. So, that's where we're at. Doing some nerdly things. I'm really happy with how he's turned out. The base coats for his flesh, 100% dry brushing. No other techniques were used. On the flesh, I just went in with some Vallejo Flat Red, and then I washed it with some Berserker Bloodshade, and then I dry brushed over that some Vallejo Scarlet. So, tonight once again is Daggerheart night, but sadly not feeling too great. I was going to watch on Twitch and chat there, but YouTube is easier on the TV and phone. I understand that. So this dude, his name is Festerax. So he is the patron, kind of, adjacent patron of my warband, the Putrid Maw. They are the Nurgle worshipping World Eaters. They worship both Khorne and Nurgle. They were World Eaters, and then they were infected with Nurgle's bone spores by this guy. And they refer to him as the Gardener because he cultivates the spores that infect them. But I'm super thrilled with how he's turned out so far. Just going in and doing a bunch of the detail work now. But he's probably one of my best pieces as of right now. So he's a chonky boy. Let's see. I was going in. I was gonna do washes. Washes on the larvae that are coming out of him. Hey, Melodus. So all of the maggoty flesh. Because the maggots themselves need some definition. So I'm just going to go over them with some Seraphim Sepia. Should give them a little bit of color. Probably won't do anything beyond that. Just got some Killicans primed, waiting for them to dry fully before I paint. Very nice. Getting them ready for a little bit of Tannine Crusade action. You know, I haven't actually worked on that in a little while. Probably should, since it was my idea. It's a little blotchy, but it's forgivable. They're so tiny. They're kind of hard to make look just right. Thankfully, the Seraphim Sepia kind of blends in with the flesh. Keep getting to add gifts to the dock. Yeah, I haven't really done a whole lot with the dock since I sent it. It's nice to have it, though, because all of the current conflicts that I'm working on for all of my armies and things, it makes them feel a bit more believable in the setting whenever I write out some actual logistics. Okay, I think it's all the maggots. Pretty sure. But now they have a little more definition. Isn't he great? All of the flesh is 100% dry brushed. And I am super pleased with it. I did do a little bit of undercoating with the hull red, which I use a lot of. Just underneath, like the lower parts of the model, just to give some shadow. That's not just straight black. Because there's plenty of that already. But yeah, it was just a bunch of layers. I probably could have done a little bit more underneath. He looks a little empty down below. But I don't think in the long run it's going to make that much of a difference. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do the bony bits now. And what I think I'm going to do is base them in Iraqi sand. Hey, Rushtiv. Welcome in. How are you doing? How are classes? Now part of the crew. Can't even fathom painting something that big. It was super easy since I just did the dry brushing. It was fantastic. Now part of the crew. I'm glad to have you as part of the crew. My first exam today went fine, I think. Getting ready for a nice long weekend due to a break. Long weekends are phenomenal. I think this Iraqi sand is fairly close to Skeleton Horde. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's correct. So taking a long weekend now, just have to debate whether I feel good enough to actually go in tomorrow for work or work from home. I wish I could work from home. Versus 7 exams for a class tomorrow, but here I am painting minis instead of studying. Didn't really study for this exam either, don't worry. I feel like the first round of exams always a test run now. Seriously, I have to take the class. What's your opinion on the new Vallejo versus old Vallejo? Given my experience, I've never used old Vallejo. So, I've been collecting Vallejo paints for about, probably 2 years. So I'm not really well versed enough in the history of it to know their old formulas. My only major complaint that I have about Vallejo paints is they are so bubbly. You get so many bubbles. If you try to thin it down at all, your brush is just full of bubbles. It's kind of crazy. And it's quite obnoxious. So you have to go super light and you have to be super careful whenever you're going over raised edges not to leave any bubbles behind. And even if you are super careful, there will still be some. Oh, the old formula bottle. First go with the... Oh, are you talking about the model color versus the game color? I don't really notice a huge difference. Assuming this is what you mean. There might be a little bit more thickness to the model color, but I haven't really noticed anything discernible. I've never used Vallejo Air because I don't own an airbrush. You know, I'm considering getting another set of paints in the future. Stuck between Vallejo, Army Painter, and more monument hobbies. Well, I can't really speak on anything except for Vallejo and a little bit of Citadel. Because Vallejo is what I have the readiest access to, so that's just what I get. Don't really have a whole lot of access to anything else. The model color is the old formula, where the game color is the new formula. Same as the old, new model color. Didn't know if it was worth picking up the old model color or not. Yeah, I really don't notice a discernible difference. Other than maybe a slight change in thickness. I mean, but other than that, it's not really a lot. I think the hardest part on this guy to paint is going to end up being the Nurglings. I'm debating just going over them with a wash and then maybe picking out some of the detail bits and calling it good. Hi, Miss Morningstar. This is a great unclean one. I didn't want to make Rodigus. I wanted to make him kind of my own named great unclean one. So I gave him the Rodigus mouth. And then just use the regular great unclean one head. And he is ugly. You've seen how they walk in Total Warhammer 3? I have, and it's quite comical. Should probably go in and pick out his teeth. So lumbering, so obese. This guy is the other Warhammer guys. Can you choose what pieces to build him with? Yeah, so he comes with different weapon options. He comes with 2 different heads because you can make him or you can make Rodigus. And 2 different stomach options. So they can either be intestines or a gaping mouth. And I went with the mouth. Go ahead and paint the toenails while I'm here. But I couldn't believe his attack animations when I first played. Like I need to learn more about centerpiece guys from Warhammer. Yeah, it depends on who you get. If they're a named character from the get-go, there aren't really any customization options. But if they're just a regular character, then there's usually more to choose from. Like Vastor over there, it's just one kit. You use everything in the kit. Abaddon, you have to use everything in the kit. I didn't. I did some kit bashing. He needs to get painted at some point too. And can we talk about the new mutilators? Because I kind of want some. I have obliterators. I haven't built them yet, but I have obliterators. My first ultimate victory, EW3, was as Scarbrand, with me killing the guy who had the Sword of Cain. Scarbrand's army never lost another battle. Are you going to paint the Space Marine? If so, it has to be your least favorite faction. So it's not my least favorite faction. So in the canon conflict, in my canon conflict that the Putrid Maw is taking part in, at the current point, they are fighting simultaneously against orcs and the Executioners chapter. So he's going to be an Executioner. And they are not my least favorite. If I were to paint my least favorite, it would be what everyone else does, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. Because Ultramarines deserve all the hate they get, but they don't deserve the recognition. Other than Ultramarines, there's not really a chapter that I outright despise. I like most all chapters. The sign out has been waiting for some new ones. They weren't even many good 3D sculpts available. What's wrong with the Ultramarines? They're everywhere. They're overdone. They're overplayed. oversaturated. I don't care about them. I don't want to see them. Hmm. 40k Ultramarines. 30k Ultramarines are awesome. But once the codex hits them, they're just... I can't with them. I can't even. So I don't. Hi, Blackguard. Painting Beast Snagga Boys? I almost picked up some Beast Snagga Boys the other day. But I didn't because I bought this instead. It's the 2024 Kill Team box. Beginner set. Just got it for the models because it's like $120 worth of models for 50 bucks. I was like, yes, please. So I snatched that right up. Big disagree. Doesn't matter the setting. They deserve 100 cows. Well, you would say that because you like word bears and they don't get along with the word bears. I like Gilliman. Gilliman's neat. Codex is a guide that shapes us into the Space Marines that we are required to be. It's not gospel, but a test. You have failed that test. Yep. I don't like the blueberries. I don't mind the blueberry successors. Like, Ultramarines have some really cool successors. Like Iron Snakes and Emperor Scythes and another one off the top of my head. Those are the only two that are coming to mind. But those are cool. I like them. I have to hate the Imperial Fists for my hatred of yellow. And I don't mind the Imperial Fists. I have an Imperial Fist successor. I do like Dorn better than Gilliman. Not gonna lie. Steel Hawks, they're cool. They are cool. That's right. Very complicated to paint, mind. Yeah, I probably won't be painting any of them. That's one of the nice things about my, about painting Deathwatch, which I am working on. I'm not making an army or anything, but I like painting Deathwatch because it gives me an opportunity to kind of feel out different chapters. Hello, wife. Thinking of trying some Fire Angels. Might have an interesting look. I feel like they'd be an interesting contrast as allies to my Templars. They could be. I like that idea. I'm all for throwing in canon chapters with your own stuff. because then it feels all that more believable in the setting. It's something I kind of strive for. Because, like, yeah, the Putrid Maw are in the same conflict as the Fervent Storm and the Angels of Sorrow, but they're in a slightly different location. Because they encountered some orcs. And then the Executioners are there to assist. And then assisting the Angels of Sorrow are the Red Hunters right now. Because they're going after the Fervent Storm. There are a lot of details on this model. I want to try to build a Space Wolf set because Space Wolves are cool. Favorite animal. But currently I'm building a red set of guys with black shoulder lining and gold emblems. Is that a faction? Let's see. Red, black shoulder, gold emblems. Yeah, it's a little Blood Angel-y. It could be one of the numerous Blood Angel successors. I did finish the Siege of Baal recently. Finally. And Maldius, I remember I told you it was kind of mid. It picks up a lot. There was one chapter that was ringing a bell. Has a similar color scheme to what you're talking about, Nathan, and I don't remember what it was, so I'm gonna have to look. Cannot wait to move out of my apartment. I think my biggest issue with not painting or hobbying more is that I don't have a dedicated space for it. I need a hobby desk. Yeah, I don't know what I would do without my hobby desk. I used to paint on the floor when I first started, and not only did it kill my back, but I needed something more permanent. So I could have my paints in a dedicated spot. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can find that chapter for you. I know they're Blood Angels. Nice thing about having the wiki readily available, I use it frequently. And if you look up any of the founding chapters on the wiki, they have the entire list of their successors. And there are a lot of Blood Angel successors. It wasn't Angels Vermilion, was it? It might have been, actually. No. Angels Resplendent? No. Blood Drinkers, they're all red. The Flesh Eaters are all red. Hi, Mackenzie. So when you say conflict, what does that mean? I too need to move out as well. Need a hobby space. So whenever I'm writing lore, because I have docs on docs for every army that I have, I have conflicts, notable conflicts in a section, and so each of them have a conflict that they're currently partaking in the 42nd millennium. And so when I refer to a canon conflict, that's what I mean. So like my Terminus Knights are partaking in the Tannine Crusade, which is something that me and the patrons have kind of collectively started. We haven't really fleshed a whole lot out. And my Angels of Sorrow, they're partaking in the Alperen War, which is a war over a system against the Fervent Storm, which is my other Chaos Warband, and the Putrid Maw, who are these guys. Don't have to look for me. You can always look. I was just wondering if it's a thing or not. I'm still pretty new. I was going to do a purple set of guys, but red was common color of paints. Red is a very fun color to paint because it's simple and it lays well, and it's really easy to do a grimdark scheme with. If you have like 3 or 4 different shades of red and you have a black base coat or undercoat, it's really easy to make that look really good. But yeah, if they're red, chances are that they are Blood Angels. They don't have to be. There are other chapters from other successions that are red. But that is the most common. Speaking of schemes, I finally ordered a battalion box. I now need to think of some Beastmen schemes to try out. That sounds like fun. Couldn't tell you the first thing about Beastmen schemes. I'll have to share the first Space Marine. It's definitely rough. The second one I tried with Citadel paint. I'd say I'm not a fan of No Dropper Bottle. Oh, hey, welcome to the server. Yeah, I get that. I'm not a huge fan either. I see these people who transfer their Citadel paints to dropper bottles. It's a really good idea, but it's a lot of work. Also crazy how much cheaper Beastmen are now that they were reboxed. AOS ones were like 10 guys for $50. Old World is 30 guys for 70. Holy crap. It's quite the dramatic jump. It's too wet, too wet, too wet. Soak it up. Too much. Try that again. Let's see. I see you shared to the Discord. Oh, that is clean. Looks like a fun kit bash. Yeah, that looks good. I swear. Okay, I gotta look now. I gotta see if I can find a chapter reminiscent of this. Also, if they're codex compliant, like 100% codex compliant, their shoulder trim signifies their company. So black shoulder trim means 5th company. Unless they take after the Blood Angels, because they do company markings a little different. They use blood drops, and I haven't learned all that. But that looks great. Let's see. Do the horns now. Are there any other bony bits? I don't think so. I'm gonna have to hit the loincloth again. Not a big deal. Like the sage green accents. Gives me Halo vibes for some reason. Let's do the horns. I'm gonna use a bigger brush. Because I want to cover more surface area. I can go in and fill the other spots after it's done. Green was a custom mix of paint I will never get again, I guarantee it. You know, I always think that I mix a color and it's never going to be exactly the way it was. And then somehow I get it remarkably close. And I don't know how I do it. Someone who's been airbrushing, painting for years, mixing paint is the bane of my existence. Never get it perfect even if I write it down. Yeah, it's not easy. I try to do that too. Like a drop of this and another drop of this. It never ever comes out the way you want it. Some more in here. By the way, is that 1K game ever happening? I don't know. So I keep trying to talk to Raincloud, and I can't get him to effectively communicate with me. Because he's got something going on literally every weekend. And then I don't. I really have no clue. I can't get you a straight answer. The Discord will be the first one to know about it, though. And I would say I would rope someone else into playing it with me, but I don't think anyone else would have any interest. So I think the next goal is going to have to be something a bit more achievable that I don't really have to rely on other people. But we're quite a ways off from that. Numbers have steadily halted for some reason. Also testing painting methods. That was my first try with speed paint to get the base down and then do the details. My second attempt was with Citadel. Still not done with that guy. Work sucks. Work does suck. I can vouch for that. Okay, we'll do one more hit. The big brush. Just to get these areas. Hey, we're now at the same subscriber count. Are we? When that guy's done, I'm going to test out blending paint job. Like the Heretic guy I keep seeing on YouTube. Wet blending is difficult. I gotta look at your subscriber count now, Melodus. It's not something I do very frequently. Oh, minus 200. I see what you're saying. I thought you were like, you're at 200 subs now? I see. I have been watching your shorts. The engagement is really good. Getting a good handful of likes. I like how that bad joke was completely derailed. You completely derailed the stream. Just shows how much power you actually have on my channel. Maybe that's not a good thing. Granted, you do pay for your power. Yeah, I can't do streams unless there are people to interact with. They're boring. Also, somehow my best vids and shorts are the low effort ones. Those I try to edit and put effort into do the worst. I know how that goes. The only video that I have that I've ever put effort in that performed well was the Hell's Reach video. And I think it's almost at 5K, which is astronomical. What I can't believe is how well the TikTok is doing. Even when I'm just uploading like once a week. I mean, I've only had it for like 3 weeks now, and I'm already at, what was it, like 20 subs? Last I looked. Or followers. Those are different. Hi, Dream big, build small. We are painting a great unclean one this evening. A Nurgle boy himself. Maybe that's not a good thing, is what you hear before getting ousted in a coup. You gonna hijack my channel, are you? Very cool. How are you this evening? Well, evening for me, depending on where you are in the world. Don't even get me started with the TikToks. My dad randomly made an account, made friends, and randomly has a ton of followers. Unsettling. That old man has so many followers. I'm going to replace every thumbnail with a picture of a smug elf. Yeah, and with TikTok, I discovered that unless you're active on it, even a little bit, your videos will get 0 views. So you have to be, even if it's just scrolling for like 5 minutes. Because their bots want to verify that you are a real person. But I don't use TikTok, and I don't really like TikTok, so I don't really use it. It was all part of an experiment, and it was a very successful experiment. Don't look at mine then. I got TikTok to mess with my kids. Now I have more followers than all of them combined. That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't really need it, and I probably won't advertise it, but it's there. And I may upload one of my old videos to it every once in a while. That's the extent of it. I've been trying to avoid shorts content. Shorts content, it's hit or miss. The YouTube shorts algorithm, I don't like because it's really random, or at least mine is. Because most of my algorithm, well, my algorithm right now is all Warhammer and Fallout, because I'm watching the Fallout show and I've been playing Fallout a lot. And that's it. But I go into shorts and it's the most random crap that has nothing to do with anything that I'm remotely interested in. Short form is so much easier to edit. It is easy to edit. With the amount of time that I have in a day, it's nice to not have to edit anything long form. Clean up these spots. Put a wash on that. All right, I believe all of the horny bits are painted now, so we're going to go ahead and wash those. Use some Agrax Earth Shade. Where do you usually get most of your subs, shorts, or live, or vids? In the beginning, it was lives. And then it was shorts. And then it was vids. And now, all of a sudden, it's just kind of come to a screeching halt no matter what I do. On YouTube. Twitch, I might get a sub per stream. Well, actually, that may be per every, like, 3 or 4 streams. And TikTok has just been exploding. And it sucks because out of all of those, TikTok is the one I use the least. And it's not even just because I'm too good for it, it's because I just don't actively use it. Like, I might open it once a week. Since I got it. Which was about 3-ish weeks ago. On me last week on YouTube randomly. I fell here in Twitch 2 for 1. Yeah, there are the few of you who bless me with your attention on both platforms. And I didn't start out on Twitch. I started on YouTube, and then I kind of just experimented with that for a while to see which one performed better, and then I switched streaming softwares and started streaming on both consistently, and I feel like it's been doing pretty well since I started streaming on Twitch and YouTube both. I don't bog myself down with the analytics like I did when I first started, because I know that I don't have the time to dedicate full time to anything. So I just kind of let it go. And it does what it does. And we have ourselves a great little community here that I'm very thankful for. Y'all are great, and I appreciate every single one of you. I think we have 30 some odd people in the Discord. And I know personally probably about 15 of them. But I think it's great. I didn't think that a year ago that this is where I would be, having this kind of attention in this space. But then I saw people with less influence than I had trying it out, and it was doing really well, so I decided, screw it, I'll try it. So I did, and now I have all of you. Hey, Sloth Nobi. He is a chunky mini, isn't he? Found me scrolling today. TikTok has an amazing Warhammer community. Just be yourself and do your thing. People will find you. Exactly. I don't have aspirations of being a big YouTuber. There was a time in my life where I thought it would be great, but not really very realistic. So I just kind of do it for fun, and I like hanging out with you guys. And then sometimes I do gaming. I haven't been able to do that recently because of time constraints and family and work and all that jazz. But I think I have it worked out. I'll be doing something on Friday. I don't know what, but I will be around on stream. But at the same time, I really need to keep attacking the pile of shame. Because I have the most unassembled models right now that I've ever had. So I do need to remedy that. And it also needs to get warm outside so I can go rattle can them so I can actually paint them. No, I just gotta get power like Malleus, then use it for evil. On miniatures like this one, is the weapon supposed to get painted or left as is? I will be painting it. It's probably going to be one of the very last things. Well, I say that. It's probably going to be the next thing. We shall see. Because I want to get all the metallics and I want to paint this loincloth. I have 162 model kits unbuilt, and now I added a couple boxes of Warhammer over the holidays. It was a balmy 22 in Ohio today. Yeah, it was about 24 where I'm at. What power do you have? The kind you pay for. This game is a pay-to-win game. But no, we're all friends. I appreciate those of you who support me financially. I say support me. I have a job. Who support my hobby financially, because everything hobby related has been funded by both my patrons and any cash that I get on the side. And Maladus just happens to be one of those people. You read the stream with a joke earlier. Had a first nice day in weeks with 34. Let's see. Yesterday. No, not yesterday. Sunday. It was yesterday. It was about 45. And I didn't know how to act. It was weird. Lying is free. The money just gets him to let his guard down. This is true. Don't worry, I joined the Battle Brothers on Patreon. Oh, you did? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I want into the secret lore channels. Well, now you are part of the club. I didn't get a notification for that. I wonder. Hold on. Oh, no wonder. I haven't been on Patreon in so long, it uninstalled on my phone. But thank you. Very much. So now, yeah, now you should be the Battle Brother tier on Discord. So if you sync your Discord with your Patreon, you'll have access to our special channels. Ironically, Face might have one of the strongest sub to patron ratios on the internet. This is true. The last 26, almost 27 years of my life, I can ask it to snow one day a year, and this has to be the best chance of it snowing. All right, sweet. Awesome. All right. Should have you all set up now. What is the paint you're using on the horns? So I used as the base coat Vallejo Iraqi sand, and then on top of that I went over it with Agrax Earthshade. And then as soon as that dries, I'm going to dry brush some Wraithbone over top of that. Give it a little more definition. Do need to go in, fill in his thumbnails. Gotta do that. While I'm waiting on that to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the loincloth. Earthshade, one of the oil-based paints, like Null Oil. You have to let it dry for a while. It's just one of the Citadel shades, so it functions identically to Null Oil. You ever seen those lore short form videos? I was thinking of doing one of those for my homebrew Templars. You have the weird traditions like the Penitent Knights. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Astartes Anonymous guys do it. trying to think who else. Fit Hammer. Wes Hammer did. I don't know if he still is. I haven't really seen any lately. But yeah, I've seen a lot of lore shorts. Nothing pisses me off more, though, than the AI voice lore shorts. Because it just feels fake. And not something that I want to watch. So I usually just skip right on past them. They're not oil-based, but instead acrylic washes. They do take longer to dry because of the increased medium and water content. Yeah, and this bottle that I have here is super old, so I kind of have to rehydrate it. That's also characteristic of Vallejo pots. Because I don't really take the time to clean them out like you're quote-unquote supposed to. All right. So I believe the horns are dry now. So what I'm going to do is do a little bit of dry brushing. Highlight those edges. Yeah, for sure. Interesting to see if people vibe with homebrew stuff in that style. I definitely would, and it's not something that I've really seen before. And if yours goes well, I may have to do something similar. Because I'd kind of like to share mine out in the world. Why is that so bad? Ugh, I don't like that. That's disgusting. I may have to go back to the Iraqi sand. Oh, I still got some. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's clean that out. There you go. Got myself all connected in Discord. Good deal. Welcome to our sector of the Discord. I say our, I mean theirs. I get access to all of the Discord. That looks decent. don't hate it. No, the secret sanctum. Look forward to dueling Malthus for power. Going for your seat, Malthus. All right. Give that a minute to dry. I'll paint the bells. Let's do the bells. Let's do some metallics. It should be bronze or brass. Maybe brass. And I might just do a thin layer to keep it looking kind of dingy. Whenever you vote for the polls, I'm voting opposite, even if we want the same thing. Remember last week you won the poll because you were the only one to vote. Yeah, he was kind of the tiebreaker in a lot of situations too, because as a patron, he does carry a little more weight. But that's his privilege. All right. So yeah, you should have access to the homebrew collaboration, my homebrew docs, patron chat, behind the scenes, some of my other random stuff. Or last week you won. Anonymous. Okay. I'm going to set this aside and shoot a little air on it to let it dry a little faster. So while that's occurring, what's everyone want to talk about? Oh, by the way, I got, patrons have already seen it, but I got a second Cult of Anguish Marine done. So this is the one I did on stream. And then this is the one that I finished earlier last week. And I did, can't really see it because of the color correction. He's a little purple around his feet to give a bit more of a pearlescent look. And I'm super happy with how he turned out. See, we're all good. I see a Slanesh Raven Guard. Sounds neat. Let's see if I can find pictures of it. Yeah, I haven't really updated that. But that's these guys. Cult of Anguish. Once work allows, hopefully I'll be able to start updating the docs again. But yeah, this was just one of those schemes that I was like, screw it, let's try something. And I tried it. And here we are. Raven Guard is the first real army I want to paint. So I'm trying to find the best painting method. If you want to paint black, I mean, there's a billion ways you can paint. You can check out Malatus's black tutorial on his channel. Let me plug him for a second. What's the name of your channel, Malatus? Gotta find it. Yeah, it's just Mal8is. Because he has a very cool black tutorial that he just did. You're welcome, Malatus. Plugging you. It's not favoritism. He's my friend, and I'm trying to help him out. I probably should just edge highlight this, but I'm feeling lazy and I just want to dry brush it. Sorry, I was recording shorts, but thanks for the shout out. Checks in the mail. I got you. Let's see. You can put your stuff in the share your content channel, Malatus, if you so desire, so it's easier for us to find. Hey, I'm a cool guy who also does Warhammer. How convenient. How convenient indeed. Okay. I think that I'm ready to do the metallics. Actually, since it's dry, I'm gonna put some agrax on those bales. Oh, dang it, I missed the skulls. Actually, they don't look too bad just tucked away in there, the way they are. Don't need to tell me twice. Should make content again so I can get chilled. That's why I'm here. It's up to that weird guy. Check out his content, let you know how it is, in case he's some random troll. Yeah, we can't have that. This is a troll-less community. All right. How do I want to do this? I kind of want to paint the hilts brass. And just call those good. And then dry brush the metallics. Nah, he's cool. Old friend from middle school. Heard that if you want a black recipe, a few of his shorts, including the most recent, show it off. Also, the first hour or so of the Blade Guard stream, part 1, go over it in more detail. Thanks for your help, Malthus. Couldn't have done it without you. Ah! Awesome chaos. Stabbing myself with his plague sword. Gonna get diseases now. Also, let's see. Most viewed video on YouTube is 1.4K. It was a terrible angled speed build of a Gundam model kit. I'm ashamed of it. I know that feeling. Coverage on this brass is great, by the way. So if you want a great brass, Vallejo brass. It's quite phenom. It looks good in my opinion. What I used. I really like A&K 3rd Gen Old Gold, up to the point that the brand new bottle exploded because it was clogged. I thought it cleared and then popped. It's an entire bottle of paint. Oh, that would make me cringe. Old Gold looks good in my opinion. It's what I use on Herald. My Marine, I posted. It's his name officially. Herald. I can see it. It could be canon. Well, it is canon. It's your canon. I'm really not looking forward to this base. I don't know why. Usually I love doing bases, but this one I'm specifically dreading. Okay. You ever top coat your guys, or you just leave them be? Typically, I just leave them alone because once they get on the shelf, they never go anywhere. I probably should get some rattle can varnish. I have paint on varnish, or brush on, but I don't really use it unless it's on like a gem or something. But now that I have the Waystone Green and the Soulstone Blue, I don't really, because I don't play the game. I'm here strictly for the lore and the hobby. So my models never leave the house. So I don't really have a need to varnish them. But I know I should. Probably never play the game. I'm a collector of hobbies and skills. I have a coworker who wants to try it out, but we shall see. Might just quit soon and move to Virginia. Yeah, I don't have anybody around me who has really any desire to play, or the obsession slash fascination with the lore that I have. So I kind of just keep it to myself. But it's kind of nice because it's one of those hobbies that I have that I don't have to rely on other people to do it. So I can just write lore and come up with concepts and do the hobby to my heart's content without having someone else to contribute anything. Unlike D&D, which is my other obsession slash hobby. That does usually require other people. I am blown away by this coverage. Usually the metallics I have, especially the golden metallics, they take 2 or 3 coats to get proper coverage. You're supposed to play D&D with other people and not just write 10 different campaign worlds and never play them. That's how I started out. Granted, I had a fantasy world and I didn't even know what D&D was. And so once I discovered D&D, I just kind of adapted D&D to my world. I'm going to need to take one of the next 7 days and paint. going to during my winter vacation, but life got in the way. Said to myself, in order to start painting, needs storage. This is true. That's one of my major issues right now is I have all these models that I have painted and armies that I've put together, but I have one shelf dedicated to them because I dedicated the other shelf to my Transformers collection. But I'm thinking the Transformers were a bad idea, and I'm probably just gonna have to pack them away and start using the other shelf. Transformers mentioned. You gotta share the collection. So I 3D printed storage for my paints and made some custom Gridfinity stuff for the Army Painter triads that store one triad per box. That's awesome. Yeah, the Transformer official collection is kind of a recent development because I've loved Transformers since I was a kid. But I didn't start collecting, quote unquote, the figures until recently, like within the last 2 or 3 months. But a lot of them are just my old Transformers that I had when I was a kid. One of my recent contributions, though, is Blaster, the 40th anniversary edition. He's basically the Autobot version of Soundwave, who probably is my favorite Decepticon. But that's probably also because I'm a musician. But I don't have enough space for all of them, so I'm probably going to end up having to pack them away, which sucks. I collect the Seekers, Optimus Prime. My dad was a truck driver, and Hot Rod. See, that's sick. I just started collecting the ones that I thought looked cool. I think that's the pommel done. Now we gotta do the blade. Other models allowed in the models on display, or is it just for Warhammer? I mean, it can be anything, as long as it's something that, I mean, you've built and or painted. I won't restrict it to just Warhammer. It's a modeling channel, so any models that you have that you want to show off. I would simply smash all the Transformers with a hammer and kit bash together orc vehicles. Valid. Sadistic, but valid. All right. I think I need to go in and re-base coat that blade. I'm gonna go in and do the other pommel while I'm thinking about it. Since he is a patron to World Eaters, I thought it would be fitting that he be melee, mostly, with the blades and such. I make a delicious succulent meal. I would post it in the models on display. What if it was very small? A succulent Chinese meal? Sorry, that's where my brain went. I mean, it's in the title. It specifically says models on display. So I don't think that meals qualify. Unless it was a model meal. Probably made of inedible objects. The word succulent has been forever tied to that clip. Rightfully so. I mean, it is a phenomenal clip. If I brought a scale plate and displayed an orc next to it, there was real food on the plate, then it would be acceptable. Took some time to find images that surprisingly didn't have work information behind it. Some way. My job revolves around different kind of model that I cannot share due to NDAs. I guess you could say modeler's life. Good. I'm not a modeler. Or a model, for that matter. I lack the skill to be a modeler and the physique to be a model. So I'm kind of just screwed either way. Okay. You're both a modeler and a model? Let's see. I'm gonna try something. This may go terribly. And I'm probably going to regret my life decisions after doing it. but we're going to sponge on the metallics. Because I really like this method. And I want to see it work. So, don't forget my thinner. Now you paint miniatures, which aren't different from scale models. Therefore, you're a modeler. I suppose. Okay, let's see how this works. Oh yeah, that's great. Love that. Good coverage. Looks natural. Let's get the other side. It's a smooth finish. Malleus is going to shoot me if he sees a mold line. Because I see one. Sweet. I like that. Sponging this late into a scheme. You're braver than I am. I'm being careful. Second guy. It's the second guy on my end, Malleus. A high-grade Gundam called G-Line Light Armor. More plain, clean silhouette. Did catch a few on the Terminators last week, but I'll let it slide this time. I built those Terminators before I started actually caring about it. Favorite Gundam is pretty plain Jane Gundam myself. It's the Mark II or Hazel. They're not super over the top unless you go deep into Hazel's development. I don't know the first thing about Gundam. I could not tell you anything. I never got into Gundam as a kid. Not because I wasn't interested, it's just because I wasn't exposed to it. So I just didn't have anything to do with it. Okay. Let's go do the other one. You into Battletech at all? Those are my preferred mech designs. That's probably because I'm boring. I've just never delved into it. It wasn't something I was around. It wasn't something that my friends were interested in. So I didn't. I don't know how I'm supposed to get that side. Maybe I don't? Question mark? Just leave it be? Maybe where we end up. It's fine. Hey, fellow owner of the Pigman. Hi, Rapid Berserker. Yes, I am the Great Unclean One owner. And I am very much a fan. I think Battletech is pretty cool, a lot more realistic than Gundam. So look at face jumping into your side conversation. I won't kill you for mold lines, but I can't promise the same for Malladus. He's a little wild. Like the gold on the hilts? Thank you. I hadn't used this gold before. Well, it's brass. It's Vallejo brass. And I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. My ire is aimed solely for fame. I can take it. I know I can. properly null oiled. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and Agrax the gold. The reason I'm into Gundam is after childhood trauma, my brother pulled me out of sadness by showing me Gundam Wing and Transformers. So cool, sci-fi robot things are my special place. I get that. I get that a lot. My special place was always fantasy. Either that or Star Wars, but Star Wars is pretty much dead to me. But we've had this discussion. Except, I will say, I watched the Maul trailer, and it kind of looks good. Because I used to be a huge Star Wars nut. And I think we've had this conversation a lot. But as of recent years, Star Wars has kind of been less and less and less important to me. Hey, Channing. You are not late. I can really appreciate the engineering of their kits. Warhammer fits with the Marines in a way, but after getting into the painting, I want to paint it all. So you want a horde army, is what I'm hearing. Want to have 50 post-heated Star Wars debate randomly at the end of the stream again? No, I do not. I'll have a debate. I could just do without the heated part. But I can't really rule in favor of Star Wars at this moment. Do you own Death Guard or Demons? I have CSM that I have Demons with. Star Wars is dead to me. Either A, they fell on from Skywalker, or before Skywalker, like way before, beginning of Force before. Did you hear Lorna Shore is playing on May the 4th? I did not. I am going to go see Nothing More this week. I got tickets for them on Christmas. So I'm kind of stoked for that. Because they do happen to be my favorite band of all time. And it's going to be weird because I haven't been to a concert in probably 5 years. So I won't know how to act. Want to do a couple thousand suns, guys, or Tyranids? Well, if you're just starting, especially if you haven't painted Chaos before, I wouldn't recommend Thousand Suns. Just my unprofessional opinion. I've never painted them, but specifically because I don't want to deal with the headache that is the trim. But if you want to, by all means, go for it. Okay, I need these washes to dry before I can move on. Actually, I need to paint some more brass on the pins on the loincloth. I sold all my magic cards in favor of Warhammer and the Gundam TCG game. Technically, I'm down the same amount spent on magic cards, just with things that I find neat. I have attempted to get into Magic. The issue with that was I couldn't get anyone to play with me. So I had all these cards and nobody to play with. So I just kind of gave up on that. Which is fine, because Warhammer is much more satisfying for me. Now it needs to dry. Let's do some rust. And then some dry brushing, and I'm probably going to call it a night, because I do have some other things that I need to do this evening. Just force my one singular in-person friend to play a Gundam game with me. Just spend the money. Build decks with those cards. I know I bring this up all the time, but I still think a great clean one is the superior demon. I will have to aggressively disagree. Because nothing is more unsettling. It's a lot of green stuff when you think about it. Because all the gaps you have to fill, because you can't just sand them down or there wouldn't be anything left of the model. Okay, washes are dry. I think. Yep, alright. So, what I want to do, I want to throw some rust. And to do that, could be mixing some Orange Fire and Vallejo Flat Earth. And I'm going to try to get an orangey brown rusty effect. It will need to be thin, very thin, because I need it to flow. Exactly, it succeeds where GW failed. Legitimately the creepiest model I've ever seen. No idea where to start with Chaos Armies, if not Thousand Suns. Suggestions from streamer and viewers. If you're starting, hang on. I think it really depends on what you want to go for. The default Chaos Space Marines are great if you want to customize and do your own thing. For each of the 4 gods, you have demons and mortals. So what I did, I really like the Iron Warriors. So my most fleshed out Chaos Warband, Fervent Storm, they were loyalists, and they were, not even to their knowledge, descended from the Iron Warriors. They had Iron Warriors gene seed. But they were, as with most things in the Imperium, ousted and betrayed. Trying to blow out all these bubbles. And went to go search out the Iron Warriors, who turned them away. But they basically fight as the Iron Warriors if they were a bit more accepting towards Chaos Mutation and Warp Taint and all that jazz. Set this down. Kinda can, okay. So I just went in that direction, and I picked a color scheme, something I thought was original and also something that I liked to paint, and I went with that. And that doesn't have to be the direction you go. I mean, you can make one of the 9 legions, or you can make one of the existing warbands. I have such an addiction to creating my own thing in the established universe. And aesthetically, I really liked the Death Guard, but I wanted something that wasn't just the Death Guard. And so I came up, well, what if they were red? And then I was like, well, if they're red, then it would probably make sense for them to be in some way related to one of the other legions. And then I was like, what if they were World Eaters? Because they're red. But the World Eaters worship Khorne. Well, what if they worship Khorne and Nurgle in tandem? And then it all just kind of started to fall together. That's the creative brain in me. But you are free to do anything you want, and that's one of the great things about the hobby, is you can just do anything. Let's try and find a set of Marines. Also should look more into these demons. Demons are cool. I didn't really get into them a whole lot until I started liking the Nurgle demons, but I didn't want just a demons army. So I decided to put them in with one of my warbands. And here we are. And the greater demons are the coolest ones anyway. I need to find a new way to suck up all this lore without the reading. Well, YouTube is a great resource. I abuse that. Audiobooks, great resource. Hey, Nerd Collector, thanks for the follow. I just saw that. There's also a few kill teams and models for cultists. Trader Guard, Beastmen are cool, but only have one box. What's the difference between different boxes? Are the models the same size? Models are typically not the same size. It just kind of depends on the unit. Everything is scaled the same. Models will be different sizes depending on the lore size and sometimes age as old models tend to be a bit smaller. Keep seeing Kill Team and Necromunda boxes. Have to look into grabbing one. Birthday gift to myself. More backlog. You will have backlog. That is 100% fact. Absolute guarantee. And I really only have 2 actual kill teams. And they're both Deathwatch. And I just got this kit that has the Death Guard and Marines in it, and I'm going to convert the Marines into Deathwatch. Because I like Deathwatch. Deathwatch is cool. Jam Dog. Never liked that they came out with the kill teams. I wanted them to come out with more chapters. Also, hello. Yeah, I am of the opinion that GW is going to release what they want to release, and if they make something that I like, I will take it. And if I don't like it the way that they did it, I will make it my way. Also, all of my Space Marine armies have captains already, and that box comes with a captain. So I'm going to make him a Deathwatch captain, just cuz. I guess I could make him a first captain, because the Angels of Sorrow have veterans, but there's no captain for the first company with them. So I could do that. But I kind of like the idea of Deathwatch captain, so I'm going to do that. There are plenty of captain models to go around. So at PAX, I bought these Centurions and was excited to paint them. Figured bigger meant easier, and then panicked and went, I should do smaller. So I went Sororitas. I just got some normal Marines. Sororitas are ones that I've had my eye on, but I haven't really done anything with. Guard also fall under that category. And so do Tau. Really, the only Xenos that I have are Orcs. Everything else is Space Marines and Chaos. Still sitting for the Minotaur release. And I see that you were painting one of my many gifts that Papa Nurgle has blessed us with. Yes, this guy has been sitting for a very long time, and it was time to give him the attention he deserved. So, but I think I'm going to wait for these rusty bits to dry, and then dry brush them, and I think we're going to call it a night, because I have stuff I need to do. Because being a dad and a husband kind of requires both of those things. Those things being my attention. That grandma's in the hospital, so I'm getting updates about that. Probably let that go a little bit longer, but I'm going to put some agrax on these skulls. Okay. Thanks, I appreciate that. It's kind of shocking. But we're bearing through. Okay. We are going to go in now and brush these things. Or sponge. Come in with our natural steel. Okay. Hopefully this will pan out quite beautifully. Oh yeah, look how shiny. We'll do some over the gold. Just to give it a little more character. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. Right angle here. Does sponge deliver a different texture compared to dry brushing? Slightly. So it gets a bit more wider coverage than regular sponging. So I'm not treating it as a dry brush. I'm treating it as a sponge. Because sponges deliver much better gradient than dry brushing does. So I can go grab an example. It is much smoother. So here is one of the putrid maw, and he was sponged with a traditional kitchen sponge. So he's got a little more texture to the paint itself. That's in focus there. As opposed to what I did with our makeup sponge, and it's much smoother. Much, much smoother. So, as far as dry brushing goes, I don't think I've dry brushed any others. So this orc here, his armor was 100% dry brushed. And so it really only leaves on the raised edges, and it leaves a super defined highlight, which I like. But it's a little choppier. Not as much texture as the kitchen sponging, but it leaves sharper edges on the highlights. Whereas using the makeup sponge, it's much smoother in your gradients. If any of that makes sense. And all that is the sponging part I only just recently discovered with last week's stream, because I had never done it before. And now I am an advocate for it. All right, gents. I think, other than the Nurglings and the base and the eyes, he is complete. Oh, I gotta do that chainmail too, but I need to get off because I have stuff I gotta do. But I will keep everyone updated in the Discord. But that looks solid. We'll see you, Maldius. I'm super happy with that. He's going to be a fantastic centerpiece. But that's it for me. So thanks, everybody. Go join my Discord if you want to take part in hobby conversations and lore conversations and conversations. Support me on Patreon. I love the fact that people are willing to support me the way that they are. And I couldn't do it without... I wouldn't be motivated to do it if it wasn't for you guys. Yeah, go follow me on Instagram. It's been exploding recently. So yeah, it's gonna be it for me. I think I will be doing probably a gaming stream on Friday if scheduling allows. So if everyone wants to jump in and join that, I will be here on the channel. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you later.